Welcome to Power Mind Coded. Most men believe power comes from speaking, from explaining, from persuading, from being heard. They are wrong. Real power belongs to the men who say nothing. Throughout history, the men who controlled outcomes were rarely the loudest. They were not the most expressive. They were not the most emotional. They were the most silent. Silence is misunderstood. People mistake it for weakness, shyness, or lack of confidence. But silence is the opposite. Silence is restraint, and restraint is power. When a man speaks constantly, he reveals himself, his intentions, his fears, his desires, his urgency. When a man says nothing, others are forced to guess. And guessing creates imbalance. Imbalance creates control. Men who say nothing do not rush to fill space. They allow silence to stretch. They allow discomfort to grow. Most people cannot tolerate silence. They feel compelled to break it. They talk, they explain, they confess, they overexpose themselves. The silent man gathers information without effort. In any interaction, the one who speaks less learns more, and the one who learns more controls the situation. Silence shifts pressure outward. The talkative man carries the weight of the moment. The silent man carries none. This is why silence feels intimidating. People fear what they cannot read. They fear what does not react. They fear what does not explain itself. A silent man removes emotional feedback. Without feedback, people become uncertain. Uncertainty creates caution. Caution creates submission. This is not theory, it is observable behavior. In negotiations, the man who speaks first loses leverage. In conflict, the man who explains himself emotionally loses authority. In leadership, the man who talks constantly erodes respect. Silence creates gravity. When a man speaks rarely, his words carry weight. When he finally speaks, people listen, not because he is loud, but because he is selective. Selectivity signals value. Men who say nothing do not compete for attention. They let attention come to them. They do not chase validation. They do not seek agreement. They do not argue to win. They allow outcomes to speak. Most men are addicted to expression. They feel the need to be understood, to be acknowledged, to be validated. This addiction makes them predictable. Predictable men are easy to manage, easy to manipulate, easy to control. Silent men deny this access. They do not reveal emotional states. They do not react impulsively. They do not provide reassurance. This forces others to self-regulate. Self-regulation drains energy. The silent man conserves his. This is why silence wins long-term games. Men who say nothing are not passive. They are observing. They watch patterns. They notice inconsistencies. They track behavior over time. While others speak, they analyze. Analysis beats reaction every time. In social environments, silence creates hierarchy. The man who talks the most often seeks approval. The man who talks the least already has it. This is instinctual.
Humans associate restraint with authority. Children watch the quiet adult more closely than the loud one. Employees respect the calm leader more than the reactive one. Opponents hesitate against the unreadable one. Silence creates the illusion of depth. People assume there is more behind silence than behind noise, and often they are right. Men who say nothing also understand timing. They do not respond immediately. They allow time to pass. They allow situations to reveal themselves. Time exposes truth. Emotional men rush response. Silent men delay it. Delay creates leverage. In arguments, silence forces the other person to escalate alone. In negotiations, silence pressures the other side to reveal urgency. In leadership, silence lets others expose competence or weakness. The silent man does not interrupt failure. He lets it teach. This is why silence is often mistaken for cruelty. But it is not cruelty. It is clarity. Clarity requires distance. Distance requires silence. Men who say nothing are difficult to provoke. Provocation relies on reaction. Without reaction, provocation collapses. This frustrates aggressive men. It unsettles emotional men. It intimidates insecure men. Silence becomes a mirror. Others see themselves reflected in it. Their impatience, their insecurity, their need for dominance. The silent man sees all of it and reveals none of his own. This asymmetry creates control. Power is asymmetry. Men who speak constantly give power away in pieces. Men who say nothing keep it intact. This is why silence feels heavy, why it fills rooms, why it stops conversations. It is not empty. It is full of unspoken authority. This is the foundation.
Men who say nothing understand something most people never learn. Power does not need to announce itself. The louder a man becomes, the more he reveals his position. The quieter a man remains, the more ambiguous his power appears. And ambiguity is dangerous. In business, silence changes negotiations immediately. When one man speaks too much, he exposes urgency. Urgency weakens leverage. When one man stays silent, the other side begins to fill the void. They reveal pricing limits. They reveal fear. They reveal desire. The silent man does not need to ask questions. Silence becomes the question. Most men are uncomfortable being evaluated without feedback. They want signals. They want reassurance. They want reaction. Silence denies all of it. This denial forces people to self-correct, over-explain, or over-commit. In leadership, silence establishes hierarchy. Leaders who constantly explain decisions appear unsure. Leaders who speak only when necessary appear absolute. People do not follow explanations, they follow certainty. Certainty is conveyed through stillness, not noise. Men who say nothing do not argue. They allow others to argue around them. In meetings, they sit calmly while others debate. They watch alliances form and dissolve. They notice who speaks emotionally and who speaks strategically. By the time they speak, the room has already exposed itself. Their words land with precision because timing is perfect. Talking too much blurs authority. Silence sharpens it. This is why experienced power brokers speak slowly and infrequently. They know attention is a currency. They do not spend it wastefully. Men who say nothing also understand psychological pressure. Pressure does not come from aggression, it comes from uncertainty. When someone cannot read you, they hesitate. When they hesitate, they slow down. When they slow down, you gain time. Time creates advantage. In conflict, silence is destabilizing. An emotional man wants reaction. He wants anger. He wants resistance. Silence gives him none. Without resistance, his aggression collapses inward. He becomes louder, more erratic, less controlled. The silent man remains grounded. This contrast shifts the power dynamic instantly. Observers instinctively side with the calm presence. Chaos repels, control attracts. Men who say nothing also avoid verbal traps. Words can be twisted, statements can be used against you, emotion can be exploited. Silence is unassailable. You cannot misquote silence. You cannot manipulate what was never said. This is why silence is favored in high-stakes environments, in interrogation rooms, in boardrooms, in courts, in war rooms. Silence protects position. Men who speak constantly feel the need to justify themselves. Men who say nothing do not justify, they enforce. Justification implies permission. Enforcement implies authority. Authority does not ask, it waits. Silence also controls pacing. Most men rush because silence feels like failure. They mistake pause for weakness. But pause is power. Pause allows reality to catch up. Pause allows mistakes to surface. Pause allows others to act first. Acting second is often superior. The man who reacts last reacts best. Men who say nothing are difficult to manipulate because manipulation requires emotional hooks, guilt, fear, approval, validation. Silence provides none. The manipulator has nothing to grab. This frustrates emotionally driven people. They escalate, they push, they test boundaries. The silent man watches. Each test reveals more about the other person's intent. Silence turns interactions into audits. Those who are insecure speak more. Those who are dishonest over-explain. Those who are weak seek reassurance. Silence exposes all of it. This is why silence is feared. Not because it is hostile, but because it is revealing. Men who say nothing do not need to dominate conversations. They dominate outcomes. They let others exhaust themselves emotionally. They conserve energy. Energy conservation is power accumulation. The man who spends less emotional energy has more available for decisive moments. This is why silence is associated with coldness. But coldness here is not cruelty, it is efficiency. Efficient men do not waste motion, they do not waste words, they do not waste reactions. In social hierarchies, silence elevates status.
High-status individuals do not compete for attention. Low-status individuals do. The more a man talks to prove himself, the less convincing he becomes. The silent man never needs to prove anything. Proof arrives through consistency, not speech. Men who say nothing allow their presence to do the work, their posture, their eye contact, their timing. Everything is deliberate, nothing is rushed. This creates an aura of control. People sense it without understanding it. They feel watched, evaluated, measured, and instinctively they adjust their behavior. That adjustment is control. This is why silence commands rooms without effort. This is why silence wins negotiations without threats. This is why silence defeats emotional aggression. And this is why men who say nothing control everything.
Men who say nothing are most dangerous in the areas people care about most: relationships, influence, status, power. In relationships, silence is misunderstood as distance, but distance creates gravity. Emotionally expressive men chase clarity. They want reassurance. They want verbal affirmation. They want emotional feedback. Silent men provide none of this immediately. This creates imbalance, and imbalance creates attraction. People lean toward what feels slightly unavailable. They invest in what does not chase them. They value what does not explain itself. Silence signals self-sufficiency. A man who says nothing appears complete without validation. This makes him psychologically dominant. In romantic dynamics, the man who speaks less sets the pace. He does not rush intimacy. He does not overinvest emotionally. He allows behavior to reveal intention. This makes others work harder for access. Work creates attachment. Emotionally expressive men attach early. Silent men allow attachment to form naturally. This difference decides who controls the relationship. Silence also filters people. Those who need constant reassurance grow uncomfortable. Those who seek control grow frustrated. Those who manipulate emotionally lose interest. Only the stable remain. This is why silent men often have fewer relationships, but higher quality ones. In social environments, silence creates myth. People project meaning onto quiet men. They assume depth. They assume confidence. They assume authority. The mind fills silence with interpretation. Loud men remove mystery. Silent men create it. Mystery sustains power. In conflict, silence disarms escalation. An angry man wants reaction. He wants resistance. He wants emotional fuel. Silence denies him all three. Without resistance, aggression collapses. Observers instinctively side with the composed presence. They trust calm over chaos. This is why silent men often win conflicts without speaking. They let others lose control publicly. Silence becomes contrast. Contrast creates dominance. In high-level environments, silence is expected. Executives speak carefully. Military leaders give short commands. Judges do not explain themselves emotionally. Authority compresses language. The more power a man has, the fewer words he uses. Men who talk excessively signal uncertainty. Men who say nothing signal confidence. This is not arrogance, it is self-containment.
Self-containment terrifies emotionally driven people. They cannot read you. They cannot predict you. They cannot influence you. This forces respect. Silence also protects you from regret. Words spoken emotionally cannot be retrieved. Silence cannot be used against you. Many men lose power by explaining themselves at the wrong moment, by reacting too quickly, by speaking to defend ego. Silent men avoid this entirely. They let time speak. Time exposes truth more effectively than argument ever could. Men who say nothing also understand patience. Patience is not waiting idly, it is waiting with awareness. They watch how situations unfold. They allow people to reveal character through repetition. This patience prevents costly mistakes. Emotionally expressive men mistake urgency for strength. Silent men understand that control requires timing. Timing defeats force. In power struggles, silence allows opponents to overcommit. They reveal strategies. They reveal desperation. They reveal fear. The silent man waits until the position is clear. Then he acts once. This single action outweighs dozens of emotional reactions. Silence also builds internal discipline. To remain silent requires control over impulse, over ego, over the need to be seen. Men who master silence master themselves. Self-mastery precedes external control. A man who cannot control his speech cannot control outcomes. This is the final truth. Silence is not emptiness, it is stored power. Like a loaded weapon that is never brandished, like a storm that has not yet broken. People feel its presence even when nothing is said. This is why men who say nothing are respected instinctively, why they are rarely challenged directly, why they control rooms without effort. They do not argue conversations, they position. They do not persuade emotionally, they influence structurally. They do not announce power, they let others sense it. This is not about becoming mute, it is about becoming deliberate. Speak only when words change outcomes. Remain silent when silence does more damage. This balance separates leaders from followers, controllers from reactors, dangerous men from emotional ones. Silence is not weakness, it is restraint, and restraint is the highest form of strength. Welcome to Power Mind Coded. Say less, observe more, choose timing over noise, because the men who say nothing control everything.